Hey guys, it's IlonkaSims here and welcome back to another Overwatch build. So this one's for Hanzo and Genji, the two Shimada brothers that I'm pretty sure most of us are sick of seeing in our game, but I figured it was time to build them a home, and it's a bit unusual that they'd be living together, I suppose, but at the same time I figured they would be. So if you don't know the backstory of these characters, basically Hanzo tried to kill his brother. That's great, right? So that's also why it's maybe a bit strange that they'd be living together. But at the same time, I'm thinking, I think Hanzo maybe, trying to reach out to his brother and make up for the past. And like Genji is already forgiven him, but I think Hanzo still needs time and things, so I figured they'd be living together and figuring things out. Yeah, there's a really long, weird backstories for these characters, and I won't go into it because I don't know if it's the most interesting thing for most of you, considering that I'm guessing not all of you actually play Overwatch. But yeah, the character backstories are interesting, so if you're interested, definitely just look them up, even if you don't play the game, because it's fun. But yeah, this is their home, and I don't know, it was interesting to do. I'm not quite used to doing Asian style builds, and I'm from Europe, so I don't necessarily know what most Asian, or in this case Japanese, architecture looks like. So I hope I've done it justice, but I've basically used a combination of screenshots from Overwatch and Google Images as kind of a guide. I know it's probably not necessarily the most culturally accurate, but I like the look of it at the end, and you might see at some point in the speed build that there's another Japanese kind of garden on the other side of their home, because that's not a build I did at some point, and I figured it would make sense that they would live opposite that. And it also helps me kind of continue what I did there in terms of, for example, this water and the plants that we put around the place. And I figured that was a good thing to have some consistency at least. Again, not necessarily maybe the most accurate thing to real life, but it should be good and it should be fun. So placing lots and lots of rocks around the fountain, just to make it look like I guess more of a natural kind of thing than an actual fountain that was placed or built. I remember to put in a mailbox. I ended up getting a bin outside, also inside I think, but I've got a bin outside too, which is I think more of a problem. But I remembered when taking screenshots, so I added it in the end. So don't worry, you don't see me place it, but it's there. You also don't see me move the mailbox because I kept forgetting, but I also moved that, so don't worry about that either. Putting some of these fish fountains in here because they're cute. Considered putting in some different kind of fountains, but I don't know, I wasn't feeling it, and then I just made a bit of a waterfall thingy here at the end, and I'll extend this, I don't know, river-like thing that's on the lot, and then there'll be another kind of waterfall thingy. Yes, I can do words and thoughts and things. Putting in some of these pinkish flowers, and as I said, extending the pool. I tried putting in some of the steam thingies, but they don't work unless it's an actual pool and not a fountain, so I figured, just leave it. And for a change, I actually fenced off the backyard, which I don't generally do a lot, which is maybe a bit strange, but I always feel like it's unnecessary in The Sims, but I figured this time I wanted to do it for some reason. Putting some fancy things in the font, because why not? And then doing some landscaping, and I think you'll see in a sec that I'll look over on the other side of the road to see kind of what I did with the landscaping, and I kept some of the aspects and changed a few other things. I just kept the red colors in there because I liked it, but at the same time I needed another color there, so I started adding these yellow flowers, and it works. Adding some more rocks, and then some of these garden pebbles that I personally love using. They're not used a lot from what I've seen, but I really like them. Yeah. So I wanted to kind of do a split level thing in here, just based on what I've seen in Overwatch and Hanamura. If you play the game, you'll have seen it as well. And it looks cool, so I figured, you know, I should have something similar in the house. And basically this downstairs area, this lower, I guess, area at least, will be like a living room, but like a proper Japanese living room, which means that it doesn't actually work because it's like a tea place. So there's a coffee table, and I've put some meditation chairs around it. Again, it's not actually usable, but I wanted to be kind of culturally accurate with this kind of thing. And it's a bit strange, but it looks really cool in the end. I considered putting just some of these around, but then, you know, like it works, but the meditation thingies work so much better. I tried it, but it doesn't work in game, which really sucks, but at the same time, it's just the way it is. So we put a tea set up there, which is probably fairly different from anything that you'd have in Asia, but it will have to do. And then I just put some decorations here, in this area. I wanted it to be kind of a meditation thing, but obviously that wasn't happening. Putting in one of these lanterns with the cherry blossoms on it because it looks really cool. Putting some bamboo around, but I'll change that up a bit. I had this statue-like thing from which pack is it? Is it the patio pack? I think so. So that one, and then I added some decorations. Added some seats on the sides that technically your Sims can still sit there at least, which is something. And in case you're worried about that not being a proper living room, there's another area upstairs, kind of the landing area where I had some extra space. So there's a couch and a seat and a TV. So there is a functioning living area. It's just not the main living room, because I wanted it to be like this, and it looks really cool, even if it doesn't function. So using a lot of the paintings and things from the City Living pack, because they work so well for this kind of build. So if you don't have that pack, I'm afraid a lot of the art will not show up, at least. And if you want to download this, I'd say the one pack that's really, really necessary for you to have is probably the Spa Day pack, because a lot of the things I used are from the Spa Day pack. I feel like the Spa Day pack is very Asian inspired, kind of. So yeah, there's a lot of that in here, which may not be ideal if you don't have it, but I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, we have a small kitchen and dining area here, which is functional actually. Like the living room. I was trying to figure out what I wanted in terms of wallpaper, and I ended up going with this white and slightly greenish tone, because I figured the greenish tone would add some color, which is nice. Putting some blinds up, which is I don't like putting curtains or blinds or whatever in The Sims 4, because none of it properly fits the windows, and I ended up using just the Alt key and moving them into place, but it was kind of a pain. So I ended up going with this white and slightly greenish tone, because I figured the greenish tone would add some color, which is I don't like putting curtains or blinds or whatever in The Sims 4, because none of it properly fits the windows, and I ended up using just the Alt key and moving them into place, but it was kind of a pain. and it still doesn't actually fit properly, but it will have to do, kind of. So I just putting some more decorations that I found around the place. And I changed the wallpaper up a bit, which, I don't know, I liked it. I just added a bit more detail to the place. Putting some decorations in the kitchen, because you need kitchen decorations always. And then I put in a table with some chairs, because, you know, table and chairs. I figured there's space for one here. I mean, if barely, there is space for it. And that way, at least you have a dining room table, and not just the bar stools and the island counters. Trying to figure out what to do with the carpet, and I think I end up putting in just some actual floor tiles carpet. And then I did this thing with the lights that I think also came with the City Living pack. And I kind of made it just a wall decoration thing, so that it kind of looks like these, you know, Japanese walls that you tend to see. Because there's another thing in this game, unfortunately. Using some move objects to put some decorations on the table. Moving the carp or whatever kind of fish painting over there, which is quite nice. And then just doing something quite simple here with the bathroom. Nothing too special. It's a small half bathroom. I think that's what they're called. There's a second bathroom upstairs that the brothers will have to share, because the build actually turned out a lot smaller than I thought. I was afraid initially that I'd make the build much too big, because it is a fairly big lot. But I actually ended up keeping it quite small, which is kind of a problem, because I didn't get to put as much detail into the bedrooms as I would have wanted to. But at the same time, I'm really happy that I didn't have a bigger build, because builds take too much time. Like, big builds take too much time. And there's only so much time I really have in the day. Had to block off this little area to hide the roof, because the game is silly. And then I started doing this living area. So basically what I do here is what kind of was more my idea for the entire build, which was a kind of a mix between Asian, or in this case Japanese, I suppose, architecture, and like kind of futuristic things, because Overwatch is supposedly like 60 years in the future, I think, and Genji is in game, at least, not so much in The Sims, but in Overwatch he is like a cyborg ninja or whatever. So I figured, you know, some kind of mixture between proper Asian architecture and futuristic things would have been fun, but it just, I got distracted by the proper Asian things downstairs. But then this area is a bit more modern, and there is still definitely an Asian feel to it, in my opinion. But it's a bit more modern and a little bit less traditional. And I love that painting, and I'll use it at some point. I just didn't use it here. Put it in these mirrors and put something up on them, which looks a little bit weird, but at the same time I kind of liked it. Putting double carpets in, putting in this wall divider to, again, go with this Asian vibe, and doing the same thing with the lights that I've done downstairs, and just putting in some decorations, putting in another one of these lanterns, well, another 4 of those lanterns actually, and then I'll put some lights above the staircase as well, which I had to make a lot less bright because that was just too much. Putting a little bamboo thingy in there, putting some windows over there in the bedroom because I forgot to put those in earlier. And then I start with the bedrooms. I found this wallpaper which kind of fit for the Asian style, but at the same time I also liked what I already had, so I didn't use it. So yeah, first bedroom is Hanzo's bedroom, and trying to build for characters can be really tricky. Like, it's a good thing to do and it's nice to do because you have someone and a particular character and all that to build for, but at the same time it's kind of a pain. So I end up just mostly sticking with his blue color that is his normal skin, because apparently the colors that you wear are also the colors that are in your bedroom. And it's not a big bedroom, so it's kind of cramped, and there's just some stuff in there that is fairly simple. And yeah, I actually really like how this looks in the end. So I used this painting from, I think it's actually from the Dine Out pack. There was some really nice paintings in that pack. And putting some dresses in and side tables, because why not? Yeah, and I just stopped putting decorations around the place, really. And I searched for dragon in The Sims 4, and all that showed up was this toy dragon, and I was like, okay, because both Hanzo and Genji have dragons. It's a thing, I don't know. But yeah, Hanzo has a blue dragon, Genji has a green one. They have toys in their room because because of the game. Yes, I figured it would do. It's a funny kind of twist on the dragons that they have in Overwatch, I suppose, in a way. Yeah. So putting a vase in there, because why not? Putting some lights, candles, lots of candles around the place, some curtains, and I think I end up putting a flower thingy on the wall here. And I think that's in his room done, unless I put something above his bed, but I don't think I did. I think I would have wanted to, but I couldn't really think of anything else to put in there. I just put a light in there, another lantern, and then we start on Genji's room. Again, same thing as with Hanzo's room. I don't know these characters well enough to really be able to build for them, but at the same time, I guess I can. So I started putting a wardrobe in Genji's room, and then I figured, you know what, if we go with Genji from Overwatch, he doesn't actually wear clothes. Why would he need a wardrobe? Now that's not entirely true, because the Genji in The Sims obviously wears clothes, and he's like the young Genji as a teen that hasn't actually been killed by his brother yet. But I still kind of went with this idea that he doesn't need a dresser, so there you go. And he has a meditation stool thingy because of Shimada and their backstory, which, again, if you don't know it, I won't go into the details, but there's a meditation stool in his room because I figured it fits his character. And I moved the things that I had on the ground onto a side table because it looked a bit silly just sitting there on the ground. Putting in another lantern, and I think I put a mirror in there, so technically you should still be able to use the mirror to change his clothes and everything. And then I just put some simple curtains up and another wall decorations here behind the dragon. Yeah. Carpet they put in. Yeah, put in the carpet. And then I do the bathroom. I realized that the tiles didn't really work, so I changed the tiles. Considered using the Spade sinks, but I kind of like these ones better, so I went with those. It's a fairly simple bathroom, but I like it. There's nothing too special about it. There's a shower, there's a bathtub, there's a toilet, there's some sinks, because they share it together, so I figured 2 sinks at least should be a thing, even if they don't really work that way in The Sims. Yeah. Considered putting up some curtains, but I just was like, nope, you know what, let's not. I realized there were some trees I used in the Japanese garden that I hadn't used in here, and I figured some more trees could work and help with the build. I moved some of the bamboo, some of it sticks into the house, but I moved it when taking screenshots again because I saw it when taking screenshots and I was like, I should probably fix that before I end up putting it on the gallery. So that's fixed if you want to download this. And just fixing up this extra part of the fountain, river, whatever thingy that I've built. I can just see people sitting there looking out over the fountain thingy in their own backyard and looking over to the river that's actually outside, because they're right next to the river in Willow Creek, I think. Yeah, it's Willow Creek. So yeah, that was just a fun thing I was thinking of doing. Putting more rocks around it. The most interesting thing you could watch anyone do. You can make it more interesting, but I figured this should be quite simple. And then, as I said, I add another kind of fountain, waterfall-like feature over on this side. A bigger one than the one in the front area. Then I remembered that I had to add some of these plants into the fountain and then just putting some actual gardening stuff around the place. And then I started using some terrain paint because I hadn't yet. I don't know why I hadn't done this before, but terrain paint I always think is really important because it just makes, like, it's a small but big difference in a way. I considered using these lantern thingies, but I figured it was too much for a home. So yeah, we have this yoga area outside here, which ends up looking really nice actually. There's quite a bit of decoration in there. There's some fountain thingies in there. It's interesting. That's one thing we can definitely say. So yeah, one of my favorite things is putting in these, I guess, fountain steps that you can, you know, in real life you could step on. Just using those and putting a whatever that thing is on it. Putting some more of these sculpture thingies from the... Wow, my brain is just dying. Some more sculpture thingies from the patio pack in there, and some fake wooden boards that the yoga mats actually sit on. I considered putting in some stuff, and then I was like, you know what? Let's put in a fire pit instead. Put it underneath the tree, some seats around it. Put in some more landscaping. Nothing too crazy. Putting the bamboo over the house. And then I think I just put in a... wow, my brain is not working today. I think I just put in a bench or something that they can sit on. And that's about it. There was some empty space in there that I wanted to fill up, but I wasn't too sure what to put in there, so I figured maybe future packs will give us something to put in there. But we are in the screenshots because that was already the build. So yeah, main living area isn't usable, so if you want to play in this, you might want to consider changing that up a bit, but that's of course up to you. As always, let me know what you think and which character you want to see me build a home for next, and that's it. So I will talk to you next time. Bye guys!